Berlin is a growing city, one of the fastest growing ones in Germany in fact. So naturally, the city is pursuing many different projects to expand its transit system, be it subway, tram, or suburban trains.
But at the same time, I'm standing on top of a fully built out and equipped railway line in the middle of Berlin that has been left to rot away for decades. So how can such a valuable piece of infrastructure just be abandoned and turn into a lost place?
To pick up our story, we have to go back almost 100 years to the 20s of last century, a time of economic boom where almost everything seemed possible. During this time, German company Siemens, who you probably also know for building trains among other things, was building a large new plant on the outskirts of the German capital of Berlin. Before the turn of the 20th century, Siemens factories were scattered all around Berlin, and the growing conglomerate was looking into consolidating its production in a single convenient location. In 1914, the Siemensstadt, literally meaning Siemens City in German, not only featured everything from ironworks to an engine factory with a combined number of around 50,000 workers, but also housed thousands right on site. All of these people, of course, had to have a way to get to work or in and out of the city. And if the fact that only about 500 of those workers worked in car production is any indication, cars were not yet what the planners at the time had in mind when thinking about a mass transportation solution. While the site did feature a stop on the Berlin to Hamburg line, it was not very conveniently located, which only worsened when the factories grew more and more northward. Because of this, Siemens was looking into constructing a new line right through the heart of its factory district. Siemens itself was to build the line, while the German State Railway Company would only be responsible for its operation. Construction started in 1927 and was finished within only 2 years. The line was built largely elevated on steel viaducts with 2 elevated stations and 1 ground-level terminus at the edge of the district. Electric trains of the Berlin S-Bahn, the city's suburban train system, used a bridge over Berlin's main river, the Spree, to enter the new line. And thanks to the now around 90,000 workers in Siemens factories on the site, the line proved extremely popular.
Durch den Bau der Zweigbahn Jungfernheide Siemensstadt Gartenfeld wurde ein für die Belegschaft der Siemens-Werke lebensnotwendiger, leistungsfähiger Anschluss an die Berliner Stadt- und Ringbahn hergestellt.
But unfortunately, it was soon up for a troubled fate. Just like the rest of Berlin's urban railway network, the Siemensbahn was quite significantly damaged during World War II. What probably didn't help is that it literally ran through one of the most important manufacturing hubs of the country. But if you think that was the end, you'd be mistaken. It only took months after the end of the war to get the line back up and running again, even if it was only with a single track. In 1956, a new permanent bridge over the river was opened, bringing the line back to full capacity. But by this time, many things had changed. Berlin was now a divided city, leaving West Berlin, where the Siemensstadt was located, in a political limbo in the middle of enemy territory. This led Siemens to move most of its operations out to Bavaria, resulting in less and less workers that could make use of the line. But during the division of the city, the S-Bahn system that served the line was in even deeper trouble. You see, while West Berlin's subway network was owned and operated by the city-owned transit company BVG, the S-Bahn network was managed and run by the Eastern German Railways. And having your transit system run by a company that is owned by a state which is essentially your biggest rival not only doesn't sound like a good idea, it also proved to be a huge headache for any Berliners that relied on the system. Especially after the wall was built, which also disconnected the S-Bahn tracks of East and West Berlin, West Berliners started boycotting the S-Bahn network so money from their tickets wouldn't flow to the east. And since the Eastern German Railways had no money to pay for maintenance anyway, tracks and stations fell into terrible disrepair. This ultimately led to the S-Bahn basically vanishing from West Berlin consciousness.
BVG started running bus lines in parallel to S-Bahn lines, and the West Berlin city government doubled down on building out the city's subway network, which in contrast to the S-Bahn was owned by the West. New lines were being planned and built directly duplicating the existing S-Bahn, also in fear of the Eastern Germans at some point just deciding to shut the whole network down altogether.
For the Siemensbahn, this meant the construction of the new line U7 through the Siemensstadt, with new underground stations effectively right next to the existing S-Bahn. With documentation of its existence removed from adjoining bus or subway stations and even network maps, this left the S-Bahn accounting for only 5% of the transit mode share by the 1970s. All of this culminated in a devastating strike of S-Bahn workers in 1980, which among other things demanded the handover of the S-Bahn to the BVG. When the strike was ended with the help of Soviet soldiers, half of West Berlin's remaining S-Bahn system was closed, including the line to the Siemensstadt. After this, things were looking up though. West Berlin started negotiating the takeover of the lines, and in 1984 the network was actually handed over. The neglected and dilapidated stations were renovated and new trains were ordered. With BVG running the system, riders returned and many of the plans for building subway lines to replace the S-Bahn were put to rest. What didn't return though was service to the Siemensbahn. This also didn't change after the wall fell and many more lines were reactivated. In fact, in 2005, when the river was realigned, the line was left without a bridge over the new riverbed. But all of this decay sure does make for an interesting piece of history to explore.
So you can actually see how close these stations are going to be once this line reopens, because that used to be a station on the old line, and just at that intersection over there is where a new subway station is. So it's literally going to be like a 1-minute walk between the two. So these are like the stairs leading up to the platform on both sides. And you can actually get under here. Yeah, but there's no entrance from this side actually, so only over there from that side. But just here, there's actually a window through which you can peek in. Yeah, so there's only that door on that side which is locked. Or probably there used to be more in the past than just that one single door. And I think why this still looks pretty okay in here, if you look through this broken window, is because I think they used this for something else, like the station building, after the railway was closed. And up there on the bridge, I don't think I can make that readable, but up there it actually says like last inspection 1970. So that's quite a long time ago. So this used to be the second old station, and you can still see all of the lights for the platform lighting up there. And you can actually see those grates over there. They're not rusted, so those must have been replaced at some point, probably to maintain this bridge, because even though there are no trains running over this anymore, they obviously have to keep this bridge from falling down onto the road below. So this was one of the old entrances up to the platform. There's another one behind me. Unfortunately, these entrances are blocked off, so you can't use like the official way to get up onto the platforms. That over there actually used to be the other entrance, the main entrance to this second station. This is definitely not the way up there. That's a hole in the fence. So yeah, you can definitely get up there. Yeah, so you can see up here, there's still tracks. That's the third rail for power. So that's also still here. And I think going that way is a little bit difficult because there you would need like a jungle knife or something. But this way is quite possible. You can see the tracks curving around the corner right there. Now, is it allowed to be up here? I definitely don't think so. But is it interesting? For sure. You can see though that the third rail is missing its covering over here. So I don't know if that's still carrying power, probably not. But I'm also not going to find out. So yeah, one reason why I wanted to do this is that next year they're actually supposedly already starting to clear the trees and all of the weeds here in order to start construction on this line. Now whether that's actually going to happen, we'll see. But this might be one of the last occasions where you can actually witness the line in its current state and document it. And that's a platform, alright. Yeah, so we're on. So if you just find an opening in the fence and walk down the line, it's definitely possible to get in here. So this is the old platform. You can see there's still some pavement stones, but I think a lot of them have also been removed over time. There's like some piles over here. And that's one of the entrances. So those are stairs that lead down into the station building, but that's blocked off by bricks, so you can't get down there. And I saw even more people over there, so there's actually quite a few people. Yeah, so you can see over here, there's still an old station clock hanging from the ceiling. Over there it says track 1, and probably on the other side it says track 2. So that's track 2. So yeah, this used to be where the trains left back in the day. But you can also see that there is also quite a bit of new panels and stuff that have been added, or bricks and stuff, to block off some things, so presumably to not make it too dangerous here. Yeah, so here you can actually go down the stairs and take a peek inside the old station building. Yeah, so it's pretty dark in here, all right. But I think I'm going to leave it a bit darker, because that's for atmosphere, right? Those used to be the doors through which you could go in before they were bricked off. Yeah, someone had some beer cooled here. But it actually, it's interesting that it smells like a new construction site in here. So it doesn't actually smell old, but rather as if this is freshly built, which it of course is not, but it's in a lot better shape than I would have expected, actually. Some cleaning up and almost good to go. So here there's actually even more tracks, so this was probably near the end of the line where they stored some trains. Yeah, I think so. This is kind of it over here. You can see the tracks ending here, and there seems to be quite a bunch of vegetation on that side over there. So I think I'm going to go around and try to see if I can meet the tracks somewhere further down the line again. So this over here actually used to be the old control station building or so for the line, I think. So there's definitely a bunch of crap here. But yeah, here you can actually get a bit closer to this building. So yeah, you could actually go in here through this window. But I'm probably not going to do that right now, because I don't know if this is very safe with all of the bricks missing and all of the cracks and stuff like that. Lots of new housing being built here. So these people could definitely make use of the line once that's reactivated. Because the houses are over here, and the line is just behind those trees over on this side. And here, behind those trees, you can even see the old station roof over the platform. And over there, that frame was probably where the name of the station used to be. So from this angle, I think you can actually see that platform actually seems to be in quite good shape. There isn't anything growing on that at all. I would have expected that to look a lot worse after 45 years of not being used at all. So unfortunately, I think it's a little bit loud over here, because there's a pretty busy intersection over there. But this used to be the entrance building for what used to be the end of the line back in the day. So you can actually see there seems to have been some interim use in here, selling garden furniture or something. And actually behind this fence you can also see those doors. I don't know if that's that easy to see, but those doors used to be what you would use to enter the platforms of the station. And I also found some information that you actually used to be able to go into the station. There used to be a flea market or something every weekend in this building. So you could actually go in and see the station just regularly, publicly. But I think those times are over, because there's a bunch of fencing here now and doesn't seem to be anything going on, probably in preparation for reopening and doing a bunch of construction. They probably ceased doing that. So while the current state of the railway definitely serves as an interesting place for some urban exploration, I think we can all agree that it would be better if it was still carrying trains full of people, rather than just a handful of folks interested in endangering themselves in lost places.
Fortunately, the future does look pretty bright. Berlin plans to reactivate the line by 2029 as part of a large S-Bahn expansion. If the city's recent history in railway projects, or any big projects for that matter, is any indication, it probably won't surprise anyone if in 5 years there still aren't any trains running here though. But when the line does reopen, it won't only serve an old disused factory, but a new district aimed to house over 35,000 people. Siemens wants to develop its campus into a new urban tech hub with offices, research facilities, and housing. The plans might feature a few too many buzzwords. One of the first sentences in the promotional video talks about the district forging connections of the city and the metaverse, whatever that means. But with the severe housing shortage Berlin faces, it for sure is a step in the right direction. That also goes for the layout of the new district, which is to focus on density, public transit, good cycling access, and mixed-use amenities.
While having such a landmark of history to explore right here in the middle of the city is fun, I think it'll be even more exciting to see how it will develop in the future. In the meantime though, I'm going to leave here because I don't want to stretch my luck not getting caught trespassing too much. There was actually already a guy who kicked me out from over there when I was trying to film this sequence there. If you're interested in topics like this, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm for quality over quantity, but there are definitely lots of ideas in the pipeline. In the meantime, maybe check out this other video exploring the traces of a ghost highway in Hamburg. And if you know an interesting story from the area where you live, then make sure to drop it in the comments down below, and maybe it can serve as an anchor point for a future video.